It happens every year in the NFL draft. There's always a couple running backs that get picked outside of the first couple rounds that end up producing decent numbers. Who are those running backs here this year in 2019? Let's find out. What is going on, everybody? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. And just like I said in the opening, it happens every year, NFL draft time. Some of the first names off the board may be outproduced by a few names, picked after them. It's happened a lot here in the past. 2015, we had the likes of TJ Yeldon and Amir Abdullah picked ahead of David Johnson. 2017, we had Donta Foreman, Samaje Perine. They were picked ahead of Tariq Cohen and Marlon Mack and Aaron Jones, Chris Carson. 2018, don't get me started on the whole Ronald Jones disaster. Whoever thought that guy was going to be good? Anyway, it happens every single year. So what we're going to do in this episode is try to determine if there's a few guys out there that may not be on the top of the draft boards for the running back position that have some serious potential if they land in the right spot here in 2019. Before we waste any more time, let's talk some football and maybe some hidden gems from the running back position. All right, I'm not going to build a whole lot of anticipation here. I'm going to start off with my favorite guy here on the list. Why? Because I'm excited to talk about him. Let's talk about Myles Sanders, running back out of Penn State. A lot of you guys are like, who the heck is Myles Sanders? If you're not a Penn State fan, you may not really know much about him. You may know him as the backup to Saquon Barkley, who really got a great opportunity last season and made the best of it. In his first full year as a starter, had 220 carries, 1,274 yards, and 9 touchdowns on the ground. And this is some guy who's not, not familiar with having success. He was Pennsylvania's Mr. Football in 2015 out of high school, and he really hasn't been run into the ground, right? Some of these backs we see coming out, they've had multiple seasons of 200, 300 plus touches. That's not the case with Myles Sanders. He really is somewhat, and a lot of people will say he's unproven, but if you watch him on film and you study him, he is deceptively fast, and he hasn't really been, like I said, run into the ground. There's plenty and plenty of opportunity there for Myles Sanders. His 10-yard split is actually a little bit faster than Saquon Barkley. Now, one of the knocks on Myles Sanders, he doesn't have that top-end breakaway speed. However, he has a quick burst, and more than anything, I got to watch this guy firsthand at the scouting combine here this year in Indianapolis, and he may be one of the most fluid runners that I saw. I mean, there was no wasted motion. The burst of speed was there, the change of direction. He had great hands out of the backfield, had no issues catching the ball. This is definitely somebody who could be a 3-down back in the NFL. Now, is he going to get drafted to a team that's going to throw him in right away as the day one starter? It depends. It really depends on where he lands. Right now, the best fit, in my opinion, is the Tampa Bay Bucks. This has Bruce Arians written all over it. He did it back in 2015, right, with David Johnson. Could this be this year's David Johnson? Now, I'm not going to compare Myles Sanders to David Johnson. That's not fair. However, if he lands in a position like Tampa, where he has the opportunity to win the starting job come day one, come week one, that is huge value. Right now, I have him graded as a second or third round pick here in the 2019 NFL Draft. All right, next up, we have a guy kind of similar to Myles Sanders. I'm going to be talking about Mike Weber out of Ohio State. He coming in at 5'10", 224 pounds. Another one of these running backs that really has low mileage. We kind of know that Ohio State cycles through running backs. He's been there for the past 3 seasons. Hasn't had any more than 182 touches there in the backfield. That was way back in 2016. Last season, 172 carries, 954 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaged almost 6 yards a carry over the last 3 seasons. He has great vision. He's a patient runner. He doesn't have that small body type that's going to get him beat up. He's going to fight for the extra yardage. He's going to break tackles. He does not shy away from contact. I'm not going to say he welcomes it and looks for it, but he definitely doesn't shy away from it. He could easily become a 3-down back, has great hands. Ohio State kind of utilized him in more of a deep running back screen type passes, swing passes to the outside. They weren't really, short across the middle slant type routes, didn't line up outside, but he's definitely somebody who has great hands out of the backfield, and he's able to change direction with very little loss of speed, which means he can juke a defender and really not have to slow down a whole lot. That's really going to help him at the pro level when he's trying to distance himself from linebackers who are out there also running 4.4, 4.5 40s. And he's used to taking handoffs with the quarterback in the gun, which really is kind of overrated, but there's a few offenses out there that are possibly looking for a running back that would really fit him. Right now, in my opinion, the best fantasy fit, maybe the Baltimore Ravens. What would we do if we had Mike Weber doing the run-pass option with Lamar Jackson? Look how effective Gus Edwards was last season. Mike Weber is definitely somebody who is, in my opinion, a lot better talent than Gus Edwards. Put him in that same position, he could definitely thrive in that offense. Also, the Chicago Bears, if they're looking to trade Jordan Howard, whatever happens with Jordan Howard, he would be a viable option to take over that role, and they still have the option of Tariq Cohen there to help out, kind of to give them a two-headed monster once again, except Weber being a little bit more explosive than Jordan Howard. Right now, I have him graded to be drafted 3rd to 4th round. All right, next guy I'm going to talk about is going to be Travion Williams out of Texas A&M, and he's not one of these big bruising backs by any means. A little bit smaller, coming in 5'8", 206 pounds, but he makes up for it with his work ethic. He's always been known as one of the hardest workers at every level he's played at, and he's one of the most productive running backs in all of college football. There was even talks at the beginning of the year of Heisman, opportunities for him. He had 1,760 yards and 18 touchdowns in the SEC in 2018, so he's seen some more difficult opponents from week to week. He also led the SEC in carries over 10 yards with 57 of them. The next closest running back was Benny Snell with 38. So almost 20 more runs of 10 yards or more. Definitely somebody who possesses that breakaway speed. He's known for also being a tenacious pass blocker. This guy has the biggest heart possible for somebody his size. He is not going to shy away. He's going to do whatever it takes to help his team win. And a lot of teams are going to recognize that his leadership is off the charts. And you can kind of see that, right? When you see a running back who is, that great offensive production-wise, and then they're also willing to go in there and be a little bit scrappy and do, whatever they need to do on the pass blocking side of it, it's definitely something to pay attention to. And he's got great pass catching ability. I think one thing that's really going to hurt him, just based off of size alone, he may kind of get, thrown into that whole pass catching role, the whole third down back. Maybe something where it's not a 3-down opportunity, but he could turn it into something a little bit more if he falls into the right, situation. And a lot of people are kind of, knocking him down the draft boards a little bit because of his combine results in the cone drills, the 3 cone drills. I mean, give me a break. These guys are never going to run another cone drill in their life. This kid is a football player. You can watch film and you can tell that, and that is a lot more important than what his 3-cone time was, because I'll tell you something, he'll never run a 3-cone drill again. He has what it takes to be a productive running back at the next level. This one kind of hurts a little bit. Right now, I think his best fantasy fit, and this is going to hurt a lot of the Damian Williams owners, but I think if he could fall in somewhere like the Kansas City Chiefs, and I know that's easy to say because if anybody falls into Kansas City, they're kind of going to be productive. But they're looking for a running back. They're going to need another option with Spencer Ware being a free agent. This guy would be able to fill in that old, I don't want to say he's Kareem Hunt, but he could be that second option. They would utilize both backs. Right now, I have him graded right around the 3rd to 4th round, and is definitely somebody who I would be paying attention to, not necessarily drafting, but I would be watching him to see if he's going to get an opportunity, because the kid's explosive, he's fun to watch, and he's been productive at every level of football he's ever played. All right, those are 3 names to watch here in the upcoming NFL draft. One of these guys could definitely be of value, especially for you guys in the deeper leagues. Maybe you're in a dynasty league doing a rookie draft. Pay attention to these guys because they could be huge home run hitters for you here in the 2019 fantasy football season. If you guys have any other questions about another running back, I could have put a few more on this list, but I'm trying to keep it somewhat short. I'm trying to open up the dialogue between the two of us. If you have questions on players, I get to see a lot of these guys firsthand at the Combine. put them down below in the comment section. I'd love to interact with you guys and try to see if we can find some more of these hidden gems, because sometimes it's these guys that help you win your fantasy season. They turn out getting a great opportunity and you benefit from it. So let's talk about it down below. Hit me up in the comment section. Greatly appreciate your support, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys here. Have a good rest of your week. Thanks. Bye.